Ever had your computer crash out of nowhere, right in the middle of an important task? Frustrating, right? What if I told you there's a way to not only diagnose these mysterious shutdowns, but also prevent them for good? In this video, you'll discover the exact tools and techniques IT professionals use to troubleshoot and fix common PC problems, from system freezes to unexpected reboots. Whether you're dealing with a stubborn Windows update or a mysterious BIOS beep, we've got you covered. Ready to take control of your tech? Let's dive in. Welcome to this new course, where we're going to talk about the different problems that PC components can have. That is, safe problems. The motherboard, memory modules, the processor, and power supply. Common symptoms, unforeseen judgments. To begin with, we're going to talk about system shutdowns that happen for no reason. Like any type of problem in computing, there can be several reasons for this phenomenon. That's why we're going to see several ways to diagnose this type of error. By event log. In Windows, the event log is used to track everything that happens on your PC. If your computer has shut down for no reason, well, you can find the cause in this log. Here are the steps to access this famous log from your Windows operating system. First, start by opening the Start menu, usually located at the bottom left of your desktop. Then type the words Event Viewer and click on the first result. Once you have opened your event log, you need to go to Windows Logs and right-click on the System log. Since there are thousands of events in the system log, the ideal is to filter the log. To do this, we will display only a few events. The 41, which allows you to know if the computer has lost power or has shut down suddenly without being asked. 1074 is an event that is triggered when the user initiates a manual shutdown or restart. This is also the event that is displayed if your Windows automatically restarts after an update. For example, if you restart your PC using the shutdown command with a custom message, well, this is where you might see the message related to the restart. Then, the event 6006 indicates that the event log has been stopped normally. This is why, in general, the code 6006 comes after the code 1074. The 6005, this is the code that indicates that the log has just been started. We can therefore deduce that the PC has been booted, and the code 6008 indicates that the PC has shut down on its own without being asked. This error is usually displayed after the error code 41. By going through the system event log, you will be able to find out what caused your computer to restart or shut down. The event log is very useful to help you understand what is going on, but also to know where you should keep looking. With the PowerShell, you can also display the events directly in a PowerShell window. PowerShell is used to interpret commands. It is often used to automate systems management. Here, we'll see how to find the event log information directly in a PowerShell window. To do this, start by opening the Start menu and running a search for PowerShell. Open the app and copy and paste this command to display the event logs we are interested in. You will be able to see the different logs of the system and know the exact time of the reboot with the command prompt. The event log can also be displayed with the Windows command prompt, with this command. With all of these, you'll be able to understand why your computer was shut down or restarted without being instructed. The advantage of using the PowerShell or the Windows command prompt is that you can export these results to a text file. System blockages. Let's move on to a new problem, which is the freezing of your Windows system. Imagine yourself working on a file to be handed in before the lunch break, when suddenly your PC freezes and your mouse no longer responds. So, let's see why the computer freezes and try to get it back up and running. Why is it blocked? A PC, whether on Mac or Windows, can crash for different reasons. It could be due to a charging or power supply problem, a software problem, or too many applications open, but also of a system that is not up to date, viruses and malware, hardware problem, or simply because your PC is too hot. So, let's see together different solutions to get your PC back up and running following a complete freezing problem. Force restart. In general, the best way to solve a frozen screen problem is simply to restart it. To do this, nothing could be simpler. Just hold down the power button for 5 to 10 seconds, and your computer will restart safely. But if your PC is still freezing, then there's a real problem. Too many programs. If several programs launch at startup or are open at the same time on your PC, well, the operating system can become overwhelmed. The tool that allows you to force close the program is Task Manager for Windows, or its equivalent of the Mac, which is the Activity Monitor. To access it, you must do, or a Ctrl plus Alt plus Delete on Windows, or Command plus Spacebar on a Mac. Then you will be able to see all your applications running on your PC to try to find the one or those that are causing problems. Booting in safe mode. Another way to prevent your PC from crashing or freezing is safe mode. Unlike manually closing your applications in the device manager, the safe mode will automatically remove from your computer all unnecessary applications from the startup process. The problem is that the PC will deactivate graphics settings, games, videos, and all applications serving to improve visual comfort. That's why support technicians use safe mode instead to try to solve the problem. So, it's not a solution to a problem, but rather a band-aid, which doesn't solve the problem. This means that in your future job as a support technician, do not switch your users' PCs to safe mode so that you can see your colleagues more quickly during the coffee break. It's not a solution, but just a temporary band-aid. To switch to safe mode, either find the correct number of the F key to press during startup, depending on the model of your PC, or you perform a force restart 3 times by pressing the power button for 5 to 10 seconds. Your Windows PC will automatically switch to safe mode, and on a Mac PC, you have to power off, wait 10 seconds, then you have to keep pressing the power button until the startup window appears, then select a boot disk, and finally hold down the Shift key until safe mode appears. You should know that the exact handling to do for the safe mode of your Mac also depends on the type of processor you have. If your Mac runs with a Silicon or Intel chip, well, the handling is different. The example I gave you is for a Silicon chip. On Intel chips, it's the same except that you don't choose the boot disk. Driver problem. If your PC is still freezing, it's also likely that the cause comes from a lack of system updates. The drivers for your devices are an essential part of your operating system. If the drivers are outdated, then most likely this is the cause of your problems on your PC. Windows Update. On Windows, to update your devices, you have to check with your device manager. Then for each device you see, the ideal is to open them one by one, then click on Update Driver to be sure that you have all the latest updates. Next, it is important to check that the operating system itself is up to date, because he is the one who is responsible for managing your programs. That's why it's important to regularly check that your operating system is up to date. To do this, simply type Update in the search bar and click on Check for Updates. Then, in the Windows Update settings, all you have to do is check and install the latest updates. Mac Update. For a Mac PC, it's a bit the same principle, except that you have to go to system preference. Then, software update, system recovery. We will now talk about system restore. It's possible that bad software or a faulty driver will crash your computer. Whether on Mac or Windows, it is possible for you to restore your system to a date when there was no problem. On Mac, it's called Time Machine, and on Windows, it's called System Restore. On Mac, if you are on Mac, you have to go to Application, then Tools, and then click on Time Machine Backup. On Windows, and for Windows, you must search for the keyword Restoration and click on Create a Restore Point. You will then have access to the restore settings, and you will be able to create save points to restore them when a problem occurs. What about viruses? Another likely cause that your PC crashes or freezes. It's if there are viruses or other forms of malware. Viruses can wreak havoc on your computer over time. It is strongly advised not to settle for a free antivirus and to really invest in an all-in-one solution, especially for the price it costs, usually a few euros per year for several PCs. You need to have real antivirus software that does the job. BIOS beeps. Before we finish this first part of PC problems, we're going to talk about the beeps that the BIOS can send. The initials of the BIOS stand for Basic Input-Output System. It is a small piece of software that is stored on a memory chip on the motherboard. The main role of the BIOS is to ensure proper communication between the operating system and the physical components of the computer. It is important to know that when each system starts, there is a self-test process that runs, which is nicknamed the POST, the Power on Self-Test. If during this test phase there are errors, then the BIOS will send a very specific signal in the form of beeps through the system speakers. These beeps allow the user to target the problem. Depending on the motherboard manufacturer, the different beeps can mean different things. To give an example, let's detail the meaning of beeps on IBM BIOS. If you don't have any beeps, well, that doesn't mean there's no problem, but rather that there is a power problem. If you have too short beeps, then the boot test has failed, and you need to look at the error message on the screen to find out more. If you hear a continuous beep, it's either a problem, power supply, motherboard, or keyboard. The beeps can also be more accurate. Like what? One long beep followed by a short beep for a motherboard problem. One long beep followed by two short beeps for a graphics card problem. Or three long beeps for a keyboard problem. Keep in mind that depending on the motherboard manufacturer, the meaning of the beeps will be different. That's why it's ideal to do a little internet research with the precise model of the motherboard you're troubleshooting.